Difícilmente una escritora conjuga la ciencia con la poesía e incluso el ensayo. Tal es el caso de Siri Hustvedt, quien ahora en la FIL de Guadalajara nos presenta Recuerdos del Futuro. Thank you very much, Siri, for this beautiful interview. So now, please tell us about the story behind this. How do you manage this paradox between memories, which is linked to the past, obviously, and the future?
Yes, well, I've been thinking and reading about memory, both the science of memory and the philosophy of memory, for a long time. And I am now 64 years old, and I think I was never particularly interested in the past as such. But as an older person, I've become interested in why people become who they become and what memory has to do with that. Memory is not so reliable. It is not a factual documentary of our pasts. But how we remember is very important, I think, for how we live our lives and imagine the future.
How do you consider science has somehow shaped your creation in general, and in particular in different genres like poetry, like essay, like novel?
Yes, so I think there are many ways to understand the complexity of being a human being, and I think science is a piece of that. I don't think it's the end-all and be-all. I don't think that the epistemology or the ways of working science can answer all questions. Nevertheless, I've been fascinated by, well, what is the human brain? How does that organ shape who we are? If the brain is injured, what does it do to our memories? Many of us, my mother, who died not long ago, had dementia in her very old age. She died at 96. And I witnessed the loss of her immediate memory.
To what extent do you consider literature as to be a factor to get to know who we are in that extent, to the exploration of life?
Yes, that's a wonderful question, and I think that literature is an avenue of knowledge, just the way science is. That the immersion in other lives, which is what literature is, expands our consciousness.
What about the ethical side of literature, of novels? It's being in the world, it's assuming a position before a world which is not factual,
yes,
but it's imagination, and that certainly has to do with an ethical position.
Well, that's also, I think, a very good question. So, I do feel that novels and novel reading fiction can in fact be dangerous, and that giving up of oneself to the other can be risky, and that we all live in a world with bad fictions. I live in the United States. At the moment, we are possessed by a number of really damaging, terrible fictions. The best of novels, the best of fiction, can be an antidote to some of those overriding cultural fictions that damage people every single day when they turn on the news. I think literature can help us understand that we really are connected to one another, that we are not isolated, autonomous beings. In fact, every single human being is dependent on others. And reading literature forges that connection.
Thank you very much for being that bridge, Siri.
And thank you for asking such terrific questions.